This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by DAZN's Alfie Sharman here in Sheffield. Alfie, it was good to see you. How's life treating you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, how are you? You well?
Very well, thank you. Good to catch up. And here we are, Dalton Smith, Jose Zepeda. For many of the toughest tests of Dalton Smith's career so far, what are you hoping that Saturday night brings to the fans?
Fireworks. I mean, it's a fantastic undercard. I mean, it was very tense up there, genuinely, between Campbell in particular and Sandy and Terry. But yeah, the main card. It's going to be a fantastic show, as you say, rightfully. It's the biggest test for Dalton. Jose has been at the world level many times. He's made it very clear that he wants that fourth shot at the title. Being for a fantastic show. I'm looking forward to it.
I know Eddie's mentioned kind of a route towards world titles for Dalton Smith if he's successful on Saturday night. The Adam Azim fight, though, is one which everybody's been speaking about. Just from your perspective, are you going to be disappointed if we don't get to see Dalton and Adam share the ring beyond Saturday night?
I wouldn't say disappointed. I mean, Dalton's obviously on a trajectory and he's very clear in his vision that he wants to become a world champion. That takes people on different paths, different journeys, and if they cross with certain talent, then fantastic. If not, then we'll still be treated to... he's a great talent, so whoever he fights will put on a fantastic spectacle. So one to keep an eye on. I've been very excited to see him Saturday. I've enjoyed his performances on DAZN over the last few years, and next stage for him now, I think.
Obviously, just with Dalton, you've got somebody there who is headlining a show, is considered somebody who could go on to potentially fill a stadium out in Sheffield Wednesday. One of the kind of concerning factors, shall I say, that some of the boxing fans in the UK have had with all of those amazing shows in Saudi is potentially losing some of those top names because all of the cards are being stacked over there. As a man fronting DAZN in this interview, what would you say to anybody who might be concerned on maybe lesser products or lower quality shows being put over here with all of the talent being taken to Saudi?
Well, I think step back. I mean, you look at, we're obviously here now. This is a fantastic show. Our competitors are putting on shows. We have Taylor-Catterall coming up in a couple of months, which is one of the biggest fights out there, let alone domestically, which is obviously going to be held in Leeds. Shows over the next 3 weeks that are all UK based. I wouldn't be concerned, frankly. You look at what the team over in Saudi have done over the last 6 months to put on some shows that people thought would never happen. So, you know, I'm sure I speak for boxing fans you know, when they say they're grateful for that. But there are still domestic shows. Matchroom are a global promoter. We're a global broadcaster. Some shows happen overseas. They need to in order to get made. But their commitment is at domestic level, and we're seeing that here this week as we speak.
Taylor-Catterall 2, a fight which I wanted to come on to next. There was a lot of talk whether or not we would see it on DAZN. There was talk about it being pay-per-view. I spoke to Eddie soon after it was announced, and he said he somewhat kind of was asked, do you think we should do it? And he pushed DAZN somewhat into the direction of putting the fight on. What was the deciding factor in doing so and not putting it on a pay-per-view platform?
It's a major event. You said it yourself. We're in a hot streak of shows. We obviously had AJ last week, which did fantastically well on our platform. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a sec, so I won't go into too much detail. But you know, it was brilliant. We've got an incredible run of shows coming up. A lot of which are pay-per-view, a lot which are part of your subscription, not on pay-per-view. For us to be able to deliver this event, Taylor-Catterall 2, which is significantly bigger than the first time, even though the you know, the belt situation is different with the controversy and the dislike between the two. I won't use the word hatred, it's not my place to say that. For us, it was a no-brainer, and it took some work behind the scenes to make sure all parties were comfortable commercially, which we always do. It's very important we do that. We're a business, fundamentally. But we are here now, and it's part of your subscription, and we're incredibly proud to be delivering that.
Again, mentioning Joshua Ngannou earlier on in your answer, how successful of a week was that for DAZN? Amazingly
successful. Great show. I was hopeful that AJ would perform like that. You know, incredible numbers on our platform globally, which is obviously, of course, why we do it, and you know, a really diverse new audience that we brought into our platform, which is amazing for us. So then we can obviously communicate to that cohort of people over the next couple of months to show them what other shows we have coming up, which are outstanding, obviously starting this week, all over the world. Did very well. AJ looked fantastic. It's very quickly changed the dynamics out there for the heavyweight division. Overall a success, and everyone was incredibly happy.
What's it been like in terms of working with the other broadcasters? We've seen Sky Sports out there as well. TNT, to my knowledge, weren't involved in that one, but they have been previously. What's it like, the dynamic on that front?
Really good. It's something as part of our philosophy since inauguration of the business. We've worked with multiple broadcasters over the years to make fights happen. In the States, ESPN, for example, Sky and TNT, as you mentioned there, as an example. Channel 5 in a lot of cases as well. So it's part of our philosophy, as I say, and it's something we'll continue to do. They're very professional. They're obviously established players in the game, and ultimately it enables us to put on the shows that the consumer wants to see, and delivers en masse to the households in which we want it to, right?
Alfie, away from those fights that we've just mentioned onto other topics, we obviously saw Mr. Joe Markowski has been announced as leaving the company, leaving DAZN. He was the man who, when DAZN first came into boxing, we were more familiar with, we did more interviews with. You've been a bit more on the camera front, shall we say, doing those interviews, taking over that responsibility since. But what can you tell me rather about the reason behind Joe deciding to leave?
Well, look, I suppose taking a step back, Joe's a sports marketing executive with his own ambitions, and he obviously makes his own decisions and when he wants new challenges. Joe's been at DAZN for 13 years, and he's delivered not only an incredible amount to the world of boxing for DAZN, but for the world of boxing generally in broadcast space, a lot more than what people would know. Similarly, prior to that, he launched our business in Japan, spent a lot of time in multiple of our other markets. So he isn't just a boxing executive, and obviously in that space, there are opportunities that present themselves to Joe which he feels that he wants to throw himself at, and of course we wish him the best of luck. For me personally, I thoroughly enjoyed working with Joe. I had a lot of great times, we all did at the team with Joe, and I have absolutely no doubt that what he comes onto next he'll do exceptionally well at.
I've seen Pete Oliver now will step into somewhat of a similar role to what Joe had. How does that change the dynamic of DAZN working in boxing, if at all?
Not at all.
Perfect. Moving forward then, Alfie, I also want to get your thoughts on the Haney-Garcia fight. Now, there's been a lot of concern over social media for Ryan Garcia, his mental well-being. What's been your thoughts on Ryan's mental health and everything that he's been posting over social media?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, we have complete trust in obviously our promotional partners, the multiple promotional partners that we work with around the world. Ryan is in camp. He's training. Ryan is obviously incredibly active on social media, as he is just as a man, right? The fight is going ahead and he's in camp. We speak very regularly with our partners at Golden Boy, and in turn they obviously speak with the fighters and ensure that everything is on track from their side and that everyone's comfortable, in which they are. So we move forward to April 20th to one of the biggest shows of the year, which we have exclusively around the world, so it's going to be a fantastic show for us.
So there's no concerns currently that that fight will not go ahead?
No concerns. He's in camp, he's training. As you can see, he's doing very well in the gym, and we look forward to April 20th.
Just moving away from that, I was going to get your thoughts on Saul Canelo-Alvarez now. But a couple of months ago, when there was talk about Canelo fighting Haney-Garcia, there was talk about that taking place on your platform, on DAZN. That's not come to fruition. Now it's going to be over on PBC with Amazon, but I believe DAZN are involved as well still. What can you tell me about the dynamic behind that?
Well, it is on DAZN. It is on DAZN. It's on DAZN and Amazon Prime. So again, another collaboration that we're excited to explore. We obviously had Canelo Alvarez for a big chunk of his career, arguably the most successful phase of his career. Worked with him last year against obviously John Ryder. We know Saul very well and his team, and so do our customer base, most importantly. So we're excited to have that show. I mean, still one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world. Haney-Garcia is obviously an incredibly polished, established pro in himself. It's going to be a fantastic fight, and we're looking forward to giving that to our customers, nicely slot in and amongst, obviously, Haney-Garcia, as we just spoken, and Fury Usyk the week after, just to name two.
The last time we spoke was in San Francisco. Since then, obviously, we've had it confirmed about the introduction of Amazon Prime into the boxing industry. What do you make of them coming in? Also, Netflix are coming in with the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight.
My thoughts on it, I think it's good. I think it's an acknowledgement that the biggest kind of business, some of the biggest businesses in the world are exploring into our sport. It demonstrates that there's growth to be had there. We've believed in that for a very long time, hence our commitment to the sport of boxing and the world of sport streaming generally over the last decade. The fact that the likes of Netflix and Prime are obviously exploring that as well demonstrates that there's growth to be had. So I think between everybody, there's the consumers, the world of sports fans are in good hands, and it demonstrates the direction of travel of consumption, which for us we've obviously been at the forefront of for many years, and we're looking forward to the next stage.
Alfie, it's a pleasure to see you as always. I'm sure I'll see you bouncing around as the week progresses, but thanks for speaking to me and enjoy Saturday.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.